Welcome to this WeSew tutorial where we will be making a reversible bag. In your pack you have the following. You have 2 straps, which are long strips of fabric. You have 4 pieces of fabric with something called interfacing on the back, which gives it some structure. You have 2 rectangles in one type of fabric and 2 in the other. And then you have 4 bag-shaped pieces, 2 in one type of fabric and 2 in the other. So the first stage is to do the pleats. Now the long rectangles that you have that have got the interfacing on the back of, they are the top of the bag, and then the other pieces, the large rectangles with the curved edges at the bottoms, they are the main body of the bag, and you'll see that the main body of the bag is bigger than the top section, and that's because you're going to do some pleats, and you're going to do some pleats using the small tailor chalk marks that are on the fabric. So if you look, you've got a big gap between the middle two, and that remains flat, so you don't do anything with that bit of material. Then if we go to the left first, you've got another 2 dashes, and you're going to put one of the tailor chalk marks on top of the other tailor chalk mark to create a pleat, okay? And you're going to put a pin in place. It doesn't really matter which direction you go in, as long as you're consistent with all of them. And then if you look again, there's another 2 tailor chalk marks. So you put one of the tailor chalk marks on top of the other one, and you put a pin in. So you'll have 2 tucks on the left hand side, and then if you look on the right hand side, you've got another 2 marks. So Ellie, if you just point, so you put that one goes on top of that one, and you put a pin in. You don't need to put the pin in, and then you put the next one on top of that one and put a pin in. Okay, so when you've done it, it will look like this, and you will see that now it's about the same size, give or take, as the top band. And you do that on all 4 of your pieces of fabric, and then you sew along the top. You sew along there using a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and that keeps them all those pleats in place. So if you go ahead and do the pinning, and we'll show you what the stitching looks like in a minute. So once you've sewn along the top, you've then, I don't know if you can see the yellow line of stitches, so you've sewn your pleats in place. Then you do that on all 4 of them, and then you take them to the ironing board and you iron the pleats in place, a little bit as you would iron the pleats of a kilt, for example, in place. So this is what it looks like when you've got these crisp pleats ironed in. And then you pin them in place, so you pin 4 pins for each of the 4 tucks on each of the fronts, and then you measure down 7 centimetres from the top down each tuck. That's it, yeah, so you measure down 7 centimetres, and you mark it with a pin or mark it with a small dot with a pencil, something like that, and then you're going to sew down really close to the edge, as close as you can, as close to the fold, just down from the top to that 7 centimetres, so that it looks like this. So I don't know if you can see, but there's a small line of stitching down there, another one down there, another one down there, and another one down there. And if you look at the finished bag, you can see how that gives the pleats a little bit of shaping, and then enables you to still put something in the main part of the bag.